It seems that there's certain forces that are bringing more marketers to Cannes Lions and inside the Palais. If you could explain that to us.
Well, they started coming really about 10, 15 years ago when Procter Gamble were the main they said publicly we're going to come. And of course, they're the biggest brands in the world, the biggest spenders in the world. So a lot of people took notice. But really, the last 3 or 4 years, we see more and more brands and more marketers come to the festival. And they're coming in a slightly different way. I think historically they were brought by their agencies, but now they're kind of coming on their own volition. And what they do in Cannes is slightly different as well. They spend a lot of time in the Palais, because obviously we scan people when they go into the Palais, so we know how many people come into the Palais. And they're coming in to look at the work, they're coming in to see the award shows and to see the speeches. So they're really engaged in the whole process of getting better at creativity.
So I know you have a joint venture with the ANA to call the CMO Growth Council. What are your hopes that this collaboration with the ANA brings to the industry?
Well, Cannes Lions really is about how creativity will drive your business, and that means growth. And I think a lot of brands, a lot of marketers, a lot of businesses all over the world, they're really looking for growth. Now, one place they believe they can unlock growth is through the use of creativity, applied creativity, great work, engaging work. And so we partnered with the ANA to build out the Global Growth Council. We launched it last year at Cannes. We've had a number of meetings since Cannes last year in places like Dubai and Los Angeles and New York and London. And they're coming together again at Cannes this year to continue to develop the conversation, publish white papers, talk about the specific issues that marketers have.
So tell us what's going on in terms of the category submissions, entries, and sort of the whole interest around the festival as an awards platform.
Well, the last few awards that we've launched, the last few lines that we launched, so we launched 2 this year, Creative Strategy and the Lion for Sport. And then last year we launched Experience, and we launched Creative Data before that, and Social and Influencer. So all these new areas, right? And if we take Creative Strategy, it's really interesting because we've actually talked about that for a very long time. Should we include strategy? How are we going to include strategy? And we really didn't know how the industry was going to respond. We had an estimate of we may get 250 entries. At the last count, we've more than 3 times that many. So experience, use of data, use of strategy, these kind of new areas are clearly very exciting for marketers and agencies to prove what they can do. And they're growing very, very fast.
So Phil, it's a little hard to say what's going to get the buzz this year, but what sectors do you think will pop in terms of being sort of recognized at the festival? What do you think will bubble up to the top?
Well, we're launching a new product, I suppose you could say, a new thing at Cannes Lions called CLX, which is about experience and it's about entertainment. So companies from around the world are going to come and they're going to show what they can do in terms of content and entertainment. And the kind of organizations that are doing that are people like Activision, people like NBC, Universal, and very interesting TikTok from China. And I think if we look across the festival over the last few years, that's the most interesting thing, is the number of different organizations that want to get engaged, who think they can provide solutions for clients and brands. And that includes the consultancies, of course, your Accentures and your Deloittes, entertainment companies like Walt Disney, etc. Even Amazon and those kind of organizations as well, e-commerce organizations. So it's the most interesting thing to see these different types. It used to just be an advertising festival, right? And it's just not that anymore.
And of course, there's been a lot of change in media and ad tech in particular. Ad tech has been a huge player for years. Extravagant, you might say, with some of the beach cabanas and their yachts. What do you expect in terms of sort of the surrounding activity, energy, attendance by the ad tech sector and others?
Well, we're seeing a similar amount of activity. I mean, ad tech's gone down a little bit. As you know, they have had a tough time in different areas over the last few years. The festival itself, I think, will be it'll be a little bit busier and a little bit bigger than last year. We had a funny old year last year with publicists not attending and that kind of thing. So we kind of feel like it's a bit more back to normal, and I think people who attend will be pleasantly surprised by the variety of people, the variety of work that's coming out, and the energy of the place.
So Phil, and finally, the value of events. That's your business. Why do people need events when there's virtual video and such deep media coverage of all these sectors, or work that can be shared directly? What is the value of a big festival, the interaction that's involved in Cannes?
Well, Essential, which is the business that I'm involved in, of course, I run Money 2020, which is a big fintech series of events, and also Cannes Lions, so they're quite large-scale events. And I think the reason that events are continuing to be very strong is really, it's just a really human need, which is to be face-to-face and to be with people, with other people. There's a kind of tribal nature of human beings, which we all know about, of course. So people who are in Cannes are kind of in the Cannes tribe. But there's also a serendipity about conversations that you cannot digitize. It's impossible to digitize. So I think people like to be together and they like to meet new people, and I think it's just a very, very, very basic human desire. And that's why I think events will continue to be strong. I certainly hope so.